Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right.
So I had a bunch of stuff that I had in mind as we came in days leading up to this, but today I'm having or last night and today, I'm having a veterinary emergency that is causing a bunch of parts to jump up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something wrong with one of my cats, but there also is possibly something wrong with my other cat too, which kind of causes me to feel like the whole world is crumbling. Just that's my household. And there's definitely a part that doesn't want to be crying about this cool in public or even, out loud.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is there's a certain percentage of the population that understands that kind of thing. And then there are people that don't.
Yeah.
Understand the strength of the emotions.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Certain percentage of people's parts.
Yeah. Or, well, I don't know. I don't know if I would say it that way. Because I don't know. I think that from self, I can understand that, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Nothing has to be shared publicly.
I know. I'm just speaking for the part that is shh, do not ugly cry about cats, or whatever. And of course, there is another part that's fuck you.
Okay. All right. Well, you're acknowledging them. Are there others that are up and also in that mix you'd like to acknowledge?
Well, I always get really in like an emergency mode anytime there's something wrong with them, because they're little beings that I'm in charge of who can't speak English. And even when it's, stuff that's beyond my control, I feel like I'm failing if they're not well.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Yeah. And then, there's like a part that, wants to like endlessly Google things about it. And that generally does not help. At least it doesn't help most of us in here. And then there's a part that's like, just trust in the experts. Like they, do what they say, which is what I will generally do. But there's always a part that's like, are they being thorough enough, or have they considered everything, or blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so there's a whole cacophony of parts, including one that I'll call the catastrophizer. If something, which, I mean, whatever is wrong with the one is bad. I mean, like he has to spend the night there, and he might have to get surgery, even though it's not 100% clear that that's what he needs, because it's the best bet. But when I realized that the other one is like doing weird stuff, I'm like, there's part of me that's trying to put together some kind of like, connection, and that they, haven't considered all of the factors or whatever. And like, it's just ridiculous. Clearly that was another part of that, but anyway, that's what I got going on here. It's a lot. It's
Sounds
a lot.
like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All parts welcome.
Yeah. And as I sum it up and say that it's a lot, I'm definitely noticing again the part that's like, please stop exposing this, even if it's just to James, because it just feels messy.
Yeah, sounds messy group of parts.
Don't agree. Just kidding. You're allowed to agree. But yeah, that's the group that's gathered today.
Great.
And then there's also a like, let's do some chores part. Like, let's do a bunch of chores through this moment. I think that sums it up.
Okay.
But I also, geez, okay. I also didn't mention, like, I think that part of some of this, like, kind of frenzy that happens is due to a past experience. I had this cat that had kind of like special needs. And I just kind of thought he would just continue on as he was. And he like had a huge seizure and died while I was at work. It's like totally, I was blindsided by it. And like, I think a part kind of got formed, or you know what I mean? Like got extremified, radicalized, whatever, about that. Like, oh, we cannot let this happen again. You have to like, be super hyper vigilant. Yeah. I say that I succeed at that, but there's a part that feels like we always should be that. Okay. I'm to let you talk.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, I've tried taking notes and listing the parts.
Yeah.
And I'd like to let them all know that I'm interested in getting to know any of them and that they're welcome here. And if you'd like, we can try to narrow down to who to go to first.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Okay. Some of the stronger ones I was assuming are kind of stronger are the one about stop exposing, crying out loud, the one that's kind of emergency mode, little beings that don't speak English, and it's a failure if I'm not vigilant about it.
Yeah.
And 6 or 7 others that I counted.
Yeah. Those ones that you mentioned feel like good ones to mention.
Okay. Which one first?
I don't think it'll take long to have a moment with the one that's afraid of exposing terrible feelings around this topic.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong because I'm wrong a lot when I think I know what will or will not happen in a session.
Okay, good start there.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you notice it in your body?
I don't notice it physically so much as it's just like a voice in the background that's, no, don't. It's like, I guess it feels like it's okay to talk about this to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who might also ugly cry over their pets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that like people in general are not to be assumed to be a safe place to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you can call your friends after you get off, like work on something that's, less. The word that wants to come and also I don't want to come is like pathetic. That's what the part.
Okay. So the part's concerned that you'll be viewed or judged as being pathetic if you share this with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is like one of my most aversive words and feelings. Like, do not pity me, even if I'm,
Okay. How do you feel towards that part?
Defensive.
Defensive as in kind of blended with the one that says, fuck you, I'll cry. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, it's, wanting to do a counterpoint and say, it's not pathetic. It's empathetic. And there's no getting around that in here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the one countering that one.
Yeah.
Okay. See if you can ask that one for space.
Okay.
All right. Did it respond to that?
Yeah, for a moment, I felt a tension building in my throat, and then I felt a release. But then as soon as I was like, okay, I felt it coming back.
Okay.
Not to say that I can't, have a conversation with this other part through having a tension in my throat, but
okay.
yeah.
Does this one want to say more about its concerns or what it needs in order to let you get to know the stop exposing part?
Its vibe seems to be like that part is a hard ass, and like it's kind of pointless to try not to have big feelings in this system.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So like all this policing and these messages, not like, don't say that, it's just like, it's that part. The second part is just like, tell that part to shut up. It's
right.
It's kind of hopeless.
Okay.
Which I mean, I don't know. Now I'm like having a little conversation with myself because it's like, it's not like I go and expose my vulnerable feelings to everyone in the world. Unless they happen to work at the vet, and then I can't help but cry in front of them. But yeah.
Okay. So does it make sense to you that this part feels like the other is a hard ass and that policing is pointless?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Say that part and I, might be a wee bit too close at the moment.
Right.
It's kind of like when we worked with Pops, and he was like a kind of a hard ass part, and all these other parts were like, get rid of him, which I'm not trying to do, but that's, it's just like, tell that part to go away.
Okay.
Feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
But at the same time, I can, I can contact without manufacturing an understanding. Like, yes, there are times when it is better not to expose.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are other humans who come across very insensitive, and yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Yeah.
Or at least outward,
Yeah.
Whoever's driving doesn't get it if we want to go, into nuance.
Yeah. It sounds like the one who's saying that the policing is pointless. Yeah, it has that kind of what you should do about this, which a lot of parts do. And I just want to invite this part, all parts, to kind of a different space where we're just trying to understand parts' intentions and parts' needs.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it seems like it often takes my parts a little while to understand that it's not like, okay, whose plan are we going with here? Like, who gets to be the president of this system or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that part is willing to stand to the side with its arms crossed over its chest. And
okay.
you kind of appear, judgmental about the other part. But to the side, which is progress.
Okay.
And my throat feels okay for the moment.
Okay. So would you like to shift to this stop exposing part.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel towards it?
There's like the opposition to it, and then there's the fear of it because, as I said, that piece about being pathetic is like a big aversion in me.
Right. And it's a big aversion to this part, to the one that says stop exposing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's, because I know, the model, if you will, I'm like, oh, do we want to go over there? Yeah.
To the fear of the pathetic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So part's concerned about what we might find out or where we might end up if we go to the stop exposing part.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, do we really want to like uncover why this part doesn't want to be pathetic?
It's a good question.
It is.
You've had an emotional couple of days.
Yeah.
And we definitely don't have to go to any parts that we don't want to or that feel like it would be too much.
That is a good point. And my response is that just because we're talking to a presumed protector, I know that I'm not informing you of anything at this moment, but like doesn't mean that we're barging through the door of whatever it's. We're just having a chat.
So how's it feel now?
It's good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the stop exposing part is concerned about the crying out loud, crying in public, doing it to the wrong people.
And especially for whatever reason, like about the topic of animals.
Do you want to learn more about that?
I think so.
Okay. Could ask it why it's more activated around the topic of animals.
Because the kinds of people that like, quote, don't get it. Really don't get it about that. Sometimes.
Right. Okay. So it's had some experience with that.
I don't know if it is a direct experience or if it is more like just kind of absorbing, opinions and information in the world.
Okay. Just an awareness of what people are empathetic about and what they aren't.
Yeah. Like, it's like fear of being judged, which is not anything new.
It's not, no.
Judged, misunderstood.
Yeah.
Or understood just fine and judged.
Understood as being pathetic, judged as being pathetic.
Well, meaning like you can be misunderstood and judged, or people can be quite accurate about exactly, where you stand and judge you for that. There's a difference. Like,
right. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I have a huge aversion to like truly being misunderstood, like to be thought to feel or believe as I do not. And then there's another piece that's like, some people will judge, dismiss, or think you are pathetic, even if they do understand you. Yeah. That pretty much encapsulates it, I guess.
All right. It's all making sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay. What does this part need from you?
Yeah, what I get when you said that was just a much more relaxed kind of feel, and just to be judicious about where and to whom one spills one's guts. Yeah. And of course, it wants me to not be pathetic, but we're not necessarily going to go there today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, this part is just like, yeah, 100%. Not everyone.
You're safe for that.
Well, what's that?
You're safe for that.
Yeah. And it's just to acknowledge that it's okay. Like, it's like, now, at the beginning, it was like, no, don't say this to James. But now, like, he's cool. It's okay. Just remember, like, it's necessary for me to just kind of always jump up and say what I have to say, because it's not always okay.
Right.
Like, not everybody is a safe space.
Right. How do you respond to that?
I agree with that. And to add to what it was saying, it's like, not everybody is a safe space, and not everybody is worth it. Like, it's not worth it to spill one's guts in containers that either or are unsafe or uncaring or, like, insensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good jiving with all that.
Great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else this part needs in order to let you keep exploring some of the other parts?
No, I think this part's good now.
Okay.
It was funny. There's a part that came up in this session that I think was the one that you just published. I'm not sure, but I had mentioned this little creature that looks kind of like a scribble, and it's like a messy creature that it came up in this one session with the defiant part that was mad at my mom, and there was like these numbers, and I had looked in, and there was this creature inside of one of them. And I just saw it like standing around nearby while we were talking.
Okay.
Yeah. I had that part in mind before all this shit happened with my cats as a possible part to work with. So I don't know if it's just like hanging around like, hey, but I just saw it for a moment. Okay. So yeah, I'm feeling Yeah, I'm feeling more at peace in the moment, for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm adding the scribble to the list of potential parts we could get to know.
Yeah.
The other one we had talked about was emergency mode.
Yeah.
Failing if not taking care of these little beings.
Yeah. The emergency mode one is, it takes over when any of this stuff happens, which, I mean, of course that makes sense because you gotta get moving, but it is uncomfortable, like physically and mentally.
Okay. Do you want to say some of the sensations that come up with that one?
Yeah, just like the frantic feelings. I don't know how to locate them. It's like a whole body tension, or it's like it's not full on like fight or flight, but it's in that flavor profile, if you will. And it's like the back of my neck, it's the whole body, but it almost feels too like there's like a clamp on my neck. There's a tiredness, like a low grade nausea.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel towards that one?
I feel like I need a little space. Yeah, I didn't like some words came up, like I feel tired, not of it, but from it. But like all the words that wanted to come felt not quite accurate. Yeah, I feel like loving towards it. Right now, when it's happening, I'm totally drowning in it or whatever. Not really drowning, but, like awash.
Yes. Okay. So you can show it that lovingness and ask it for space. Just see how it responds.
What I'm getting is like this. It's like an anti-irrational. Because I'm always trying to like kind of de-escalate those moments in it. It's just like very rejecting of rationalization and, kind of all of what comes up to try to temper it, it rejects.
Okay. So
I wasn't aware of that until this moment, but it's like, because it doesn't care what makes sense or like what is most likely to happen.
Right. Okay. So there's a part of you that does the rationalizing, does the sense making, and that
and talk yourself down kind of part. Like, all right, let's not get let's not make all these terrible assumptions or project into the future terrible outcomes or whatnot.
Yeah, and it's mostly using a rational process for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can let the emergency mode one know that you see the rationalizing part.
Yeah.
You just see how it doesn't quite work for this one, or that this one rejects it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it reminds me of some other parts that we've met where they're like running around or moving around really fast, like almost a blur, like a tornado of activity. And then I can feel that the part realizes that's not useful, but just like stopping that is like scary for it.
Right. Yeah, if it stopped all the activity, that would be scary.
Yeah.
Do you want to learn more about what's scary about that?
Yes, I do. There are some like feelings of apprehension about that.
About learning about that?
Yeah.
Okay. They're also concerned it will just be too much. Yeah, it's like there's a mix of something happening in here because like there's truth to that statement about concern that it'll be too much, but it's almost like the parts know now, like that nothing else has been too much, and it's like I'm trying to think of a good metaphor, but it's like an echo, where they're still saying what they used to say, but they don't necessarily like they don't believe it as fervently because of the work that's been done already. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're, some of them are just like, well, it's my job to say, are you sure you want to go there?
That's right.
So I just have to say that.
Great.
And as soon as it gets said, it feels like it kind of like dissipates or is diluted.
Yeah. They just want to know that they're still being heard.
And hey, there may be times when you don't want to go there.
That's right.
So never hurts to just check that off on on the
That's
list
right.
of questions.
That's right.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't really believe and I don't necessarily believe this about other people who have been through like other things, but I don't think there's anything in here that's too much for me to like handle, tackle, whatever. Not say I'm going to tackle the part, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've done a lot
I
of
like
deep work.
handle.
Yeah, I've done a lot of deep work and I've never been like not okay. I've never, had to take to the bed for a bunch of days. I mean, like if one of my cats dies or something, I will, but doing parts work has never, taken me down or disintegrated me or whatever.
Right. But there's a lot of energy, there's tears and there's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is way more emotion than than was coming out earlier, but it's like all that cacophony of parts that I mentioned at the beginning were like all too busy to allow themselves to feel or me to feel whatever else there is that is, behind or beneath or whatever them.
I wonder if that's kind of your answer to what's so scary about stopping the tornado.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the answer.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
But that part also, holds its little finger up or index finger up and is like, yeah, but you do have to like act.
Get busy.
Yeah, when there's something happening, you have to freaking, get where you need to get.
Yep. It's not wrong.
But then it keeps on like, even once everything that can be done by me is done, it to keep like freaking out.
Yep.
And it's just like that doesn't feel like a good use of our resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it with you and kind of speaking with you and agreeing that it feels like it's not a good use of your resources and that it knows that some of that might be a way to distract from the deeper emotional.
Well, when I was saying that earlier about it moving all around, and this has happened before with the like waitress part where I got this feeling, and it wasn't, I wasn't psychoanalyzing my part, that the part realizes that what I said, whatever I just said, I can't remember the exact words, but that's not the good use of our energy. But it's like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, it doesn't know what else to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't even know what it was doing before. Like, it was just, I won't even try to describe it because it's just weird and difficult. But
okay,
it's just like, if it doesn't do that, all this like what is being shown in this moment is like all this physical activity, but what is actually happening is more like, all these projection and all this catastrophizing and stuff. It's like, if it doesn't like try to predict the future and it predicts all the worst possible things. Then all it has to do is just like sit down and cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird to me, though. Like that, that all of this projecting of all these horrible possibilities doesn't make me sit down and cry. It's just so very strange, but not that this is how we avoid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it stays in kind of an emergency mode, scanning, looking out.
But imagining bad outcomes, like maybe like I'm gonna bounce this off of you, but sometimes in this moment what I'm feeling is like this part kind of arguing with that other part keeps them both busy and
Mm-hmm.
keeps me occupied and keeps,
Yeah.
like the real feelings of what if these bad outcomes happened
Mm-hmm.
away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the arguments can be really stimulating.
Yeah. Like if all of this whole group of parts that you wrote down at the beginning just all start doing stuff, it's like I know that I feel awful, but I didn't sit down and weep or anything today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it leaks out when I go to the freaking place, much to the dismay of let's not do this in front of people part, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah, it's like all of those parts. It's almost like a play fight in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they just do all that, then all of the head space and heart space is like filled up with their activity.
Yep.
Well, shit.
I'm reminded of another conversation we had.
Yeah.
Something similar came up, I think. There was a part that was holding the big ball of responsibility for the world's troubles or something like that. And there was an insight about kind of bitching to the coworkers,
Yeah.
as some kind of outlet.
Yeah.
That's preferred to crying to the coworkers, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So these parts really want to keep you from sitting down and weeping.
Yeah. It's like, it's weird. It's a little bit of a mind fuck because, this bad outcome generator worrier part,
Mm-hmm.
It would seem that part is very much in touch with the fact that we have no control over whether bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem that part is very much well aware of that because it's showing me all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's a thought experiment instead of
right.
Yeah, like an experience experiment.
Experience. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, it thinks, I guess, that it's preparing me for these possible outcomes. But I don't think that is quite accurate because it's still so much, there's still so much busyness that no actual real, like, emotional preparation is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's busy work
for
that part. Yeah. And
still feeling loving towards it.
yeah. Yeah, I kind of get what it's. Yeah, it's hard to capture it
Mm-hmm.
in any better way than I already have, which I don't feel like has been all that great.
I really think I get it. I think I have
Yeah,
those
okay,
parts too.
Okay.
And if they were so easy to see, then they wouldn't be quite so effective. So that's part of, I think, how they work is that they make so much sense kind of in a way of like, well, yeah, I have to be thinking about this. And
The thinking's not the same as
mm-hmm.
feeling or
Mm-hmm.
stopping.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very clever.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. We need those parts.
Yeah. I think what I'm aware of as I say all of that is the part that was like blindsided by the
Mm-hmm.
sudden death of my other cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this part thinks not only that it can keep me busy by arguing with these other parts, but like, oh, if we imagine all of these, every possible horrible outcome,
Mm-hmm.
at least you won't get surprised like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's addressing the surprise element of being blindsided.
Yeah.
If you want, you could ask it what it would need from you to allow you to address the emotional aspect of that.
That part doesn't seem to have any like fight about it at this point. It's just kind of like it's sitting down. It's kind of, I don't know if you can imagine this stance, but sitting with your feet kind of wide apart and your elbows on your knees.
Okay.
Like, just kind of, yeah. Like, well, what the fuck is kind of what I get. Like, the part isn't trying to stop me.
All right.
But I think that part holds like some of the sadness itself
Mm-hmm.
from that. This is the kind of thing that I feel sometimes like the way that I experience my system can sometimes go, it diverges from what I see in other demos and stuff where it's like, oh, the exiles got all of that or whatever. And I feel a lot of my protective parts, they're carrying a piece of it.
Yeah.
Themselves. But yeah, like if I think of that experience, like when I was at work and my roommate called up there. This was a long time ago. A really long time ago. Like 20 years ago. And it's a lot. It's similar to the kind of sensations I was describing earlier, like about the part, the emergency making part. Like the neck, but there's like this feeling of being in motion, and then like the word I want to say is like being arrested, almost like just being stopped in your tracks, and you like thought everything was like fine, and then you receive like this scary bit of news. Yeah, and I had to make an emergency to get home because I thought that I might be there. But I did not make it.
You feeling connected with that part that has the grief around that?
Yeah. It's funny. It's interesting. Like, I don't know if you'll see how this all comes together to me, but so like at the time I worked at a restaurant. Best friend was like the manager of the restaurant, and she's like just as big a animal person as me. And so ties in with like the other parts too, but like she told her girlfriend like, well, no, you know what I mean? That she and I were going to bury the cat. And her girlfriend was like, you guys can't do that. Like she brought another one of our friends over and they dug the hole because she was like, you guys are like, will never make it, like, and she was kind of right. I mean, we certainly didn't want to dig the hole, and it would have been, it would have been a mess if we tried to.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we needed some people who
empathized and who you could cry to.
Well, no, I needed her for that. Like she was the safe person to show the like all that too, because she got it, but they got it a little bit less, but they were necessary. Like the people who weren't so emotional about it that they couldn't dig the hole.
Yes.
Had to be there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a great kindness in my mind always, like that they they were like, no, you two are not digging the hole. I've done it, but like it kind of makes sense to me as far as like the rational parts and all these others that like, they have their place.
Yeah, they do the chores part.
Yeah.
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 So how does it feel to be reconnecting with the grieving part in that?
It feels real.
Yeah.
It feels this is gonna sound kind of cheesy maybe, but it feels eternal.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though I don't think of that often, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of that cat often.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all still there.
Yeah. Yeah. That one wasn't like that was not my biggest pet heartbreak in my history. Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, but the most recent one, which was kind of a bigger deal to me, like a few years ago, when she died, I felt like I just felt like this kind of really deep acknowledgement of my experience of like the human animal bond.
Mm-hmm.
And like like a validation of that, of the genuineness of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I don't mean from apart, I mean like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very real.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely a part that grieves and is afraid
Mm-hmm.
for those things like to happen in a way that feels like premature or unexpected. Like my current pets are young; they're like 1 and 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one, the one that I am kind of retouching the memory of, was
Mm-hmm.
not very old either. It's like, it feels, and I mean, it just feels more unfair
Yeah.
when it's early on
Definitely.
in the life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
does it feel like you and this part are having that same kind of validating experience now?
Meaning, like, validating the feelings that she had.
Yeah, his feelings. Earlier, you were talking about validating the genuineness of the connection.
Yeah. But I feel like what kind of taints that for this part is like guilt.
Guilt.
Yeah, like guilt and remorse about, like not, I don't know, being more exhaustive and understanding what this cat's issues were. Like, but I knew what they were, and those were not supposed to make him drop dead. So that might have been wrong or incomplete. And so this like, that's where the protector comes from, of the, like, let's imagine all of these horrible outcomes.
Right.
I think. Like, to make sure that this grieving part doesn't have to go there again.
Right. Okay.
Go there with guilt.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like hard enough.
Right. Without the guilt.
Yeah. There's never none. I mean, I deal with grievers, and especially pets, because you can't have a conversation, and like everybody has questions and doubts and this and that. But yeah, when something just kind of like blindsides you, it's it's like shocking and confusing, and the guilt hurts. Even if a rational part tells you that you shouldn't feel guilty.
Right.
It doesn't make it go away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just acknowledging the guilt, being with the part as it shares that experience, letting it know that it doesn't have to be alone in that experience, hearing it out about the different flavors of it.
Yeah.
Just staying with it.
Yeah. It's just, we're having a hug in the place where he's buried.
It's great. Is there any more that any of these parts want to share with me or have questions or concerns for me?
No.
Okay.
I was maybe
sounds like you're in the right place. Okay.
When this happened, I had planned, like, I bought some stuff to make this like thing, like a little border and thing around where he was, and I never did. It's like many of the things that I, plan to do, and so that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Is like create a memorial for him.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah. Much easier to maintain in the inner world than in my back.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great work.
Same. Couldn't do that by myself.
Okay. Thanks for letting me in and trusting me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.